go on another big thing.
Sorry, Jones. That little Scotch Creek thing. We're getting that, man. That's there. That's fine.
Yeah, but it's very, very much love that. Because like the objective of the thing was obviously backing it out.
Okay, we will go ahead and call the meeting to order. Sorry for the delay. We have some issues with the internet. First thing on the agenda is to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Motion, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And passes. Next, we have approval of the consent agenda. A motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
Make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, agenda is approved. Next, we have public comments. We have one person signed up to speak, Judith Lewis.
She said I had 5 minutes.
You have 5 minutes.
What do I say? It's nothing. I'm talking. The reason I'm here, and the lady I talked to, I can't remember her name. She sort of brought me up because as soon as I made the call, I was offered a job about what I'm here to talk about, and I just want to give you an incident who I am. It's the 8th grade. I had been drawing mountains and clouds and studying Appalachian. Actually started at 8 years old, so interest. So every report was about Appalachian, so I probably know so much about this history from what the Kennedys promised, and it didn't have any rape with your lung or your codes or whatever. So I always had a compassion to come and help in some kind of way. My daughter attended graduate school at Western. This ex-daughter with sickle cell. They said she wasn't gonna make it. We were just so tired. She said, "Mom, God is good." She made it. He said, "Mom, come rest. Come up here where I am." And I never left from 2016 because I just feel that when I open my door and I see the mountains and the clouds, I'm close to heaven. However, I noticed we have an fluctuation of homelessness, drugs, and people are mentally ill. Me being in the community along with Hotspot, Lisa couldn't be here. Her husband got the last states was cancer, but she wanted to be here. She and other merchants on our own have been feeding the homeless, trying to link them with services. Don't work for anybody. We just want them off our streets because it's a deterrent. When I go down East home, I'm originally from Wilson, but worked in Raleigh, worked in General Assembly, worked with State Department. Seem like when I get Waynesville, I get hungry. And I take that exit, and what's standing on that exit is a gentleman driving with probably a better car than we drive. He has a nice F-150 truck. He's a veteran, begging money. Keep straight at Main Street, and the vacant lot hits now vacant. We got a couple here, got a couple over here. So I see, when we talk to these people, they're not even from here. They're coming into our city like a job, Monday through Friday, begging money. When they go back to Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, whatever. My concern is, to me, Sylva is the gateway to money. Cashes, items, money. When they really want to eat and enjoy dining and whatever, they come to Sylva. You don't need that. And the best way that I know in Raleigh, what they do if you're going to panhandle, you got to pay a jacket. And they know when the police pass you, okay, the city knows you. If not, they're going to stop you and take you to leave. Because Sylva is growing. And I just want, as a safe school, to let you know that the agency, now that I'm affiliated with, thank God, that later we had a nice conversation and they called, okay, right after, offer mental health services, because I always say this wrong, fire, moved their office, so you don't have that office here anymore. And because I live here, I want to come in here and work with the municipalities. I'm used to working with the gang prevention and Raleigh Sheriff's Department, because our police officers receive IT officers training in mental health. So when they would get a mental health client or someone with substance abuse, we get a call. We meet you down at the jail. You just don't walk out of jail and Raleigh. If you need help, you're gonna have an evaluation, you're gonna have someone there, we're gonna be in court. When the judge tells you, and a part of you getting out is your participation. And if you don't participate, then we go back to the judge. That means you have decided order. And I would like to see us with a key in, on that. It's one thing if they are our citizens, we can deal with it because they do social services, but you have been one guy. Met the girl on, what is it, Snapchat? He came from Michigan. This is where they met. And you getting the influctuation of the people from Ash Street. And we don't want that. You have them living, I live behind the hotspot. And it got so bad that we just had to call, because some of the properties that I was coming through, they're vacant now. Set up camp, we got out behind Roses, up on the hill behind hotspot where they said it used to be
I'll give you just a few more seconds to wrap up.
They're all back, they're all back in there. And I just want to let everybody know that we're here to help. We've been doing it on our own, and we want to work with you. We have to do something about it. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Was that about 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. I guess I need to tell you who I work with now. Appalachian Community Services.
Thank you. That closes public comments, and we'll move on to reports. First thing is mayor's report. The only thing I have on here is I attended the Sylva Art Design Committee meeting, and they are in need of more volunteers. So any artists in the town of Sylva that would like to volunteer for that committee, not just artists, but if you want to help organize behind supportive art, then that committee could use your help. And now we'll move on to commissioner's reports. We'll start down at your end.
I have nothing to report this morning. Thank you.
No report for me.
Yeah, so I wanted to thank Jake and his team for painting and kind of cleaning up Poteet bathrooms. They look a lot better. Thank you very much for doing that. And I was also wondering where we are with the cat cat sculpture, as well as the hat part. I just wanted to find out what the latest or hold up is with those things. Anyone?
You want to speak on the cat?
Sure.
Cat sculpture, we just need to get the agreement with Mr. Sims signed and move it. We've worked with selecting the location, so that should be happening soon.
Okay.
Skate park, the camera is live. I just need 3 or 4 dry days so we can get that construction going.
Okay. Do you need help?
Not currently.
Okay, let us know. I'm happy to help out. And that's it.
Okay, Mary?
I feel like I have kind of a long report today, so bear with me. This Monday and Tuesday, the 27th and 28th, I'm going to attend the We Speak Western North Carolina Workforce Center Conference. I'm pretty excited about that as a tourism business owner, and then also just for knowledge of our region. This conference is for retail, hospitality, accommodations, tourism, and entertainment sectors. So hope to gain a lot of knowledge from that event. Chief Sneed is going to be presenting, and Secretary of State is going to present. So I hope to have some information to report back to you on that. Tuesday, I attended our quarterly library board meeting. Dave Russell was present. A couple of things about the library board. We got a new member from the town of Sylva residents. Lauren Baxley is going to be serving for the next 3 years. And with quarterly meetings, it's a lot of reports. And so Tracy Fitzmaurice and Serenity Richards. They present what's happening in Cashers, what's happening in Sylva. And so I wanted to just point out a couple of things that caught my attention that I hope to add the links to on my Mary for Sylva Facebook page. A couple of things, they're going to be offering some trauma and grief support classes coming up. Welcome to all of the community, the county, anyone. Walking medicine boxes are available, free COVID tests are available. They have snacks available if anybody needs some food. Econo-Lefty Job Corps is partnering with the library to offer interview skills, work on your resume, help you get ready to put yourself out there in the community for jobs. One more thing. Uncomplicated Kitchen has partnered with the library to get a Charlie cart where they can teach you how to prepare meals at affordable prices. So I encourage our community to take part in what we as taxpayers contribute to our library. There's a lot of great opportunity there, and I'll try to get that information out. And then the last thing is I want to thank Paige and Jake for getting us the R5600 report. That was a lot of knowledge I'm appreciative of. Two things I want to ask about. On estimated construction time, it says 3 to 4 years. Once construction starts, I'm interested in a completion date. I've been advised that if there's not a completion date set, project could go for many years. And what we don't want to happen is have another project in the state of North Carolina trump our project because it does have a completion date. So I'm hopeful that we can pursue a completion date once acquisitions are done. The last thing is on the last page under structural removals. 3 buildings have come to our attention that are going to be torn down within the next month, but from the timeline we got this, I'm thinking more like 1 or 2 weeks. And so I'm sure the public would love to know about that. I'm happy to share that with Dave. I looked at the tax value of each of those, and the tax value is around 1.2 million in some of the 3 properties. So we need to keep that in mind at our next budget meeting where we're realizing how much less we're going to have for our wants and our needs. That's it.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to manager's report.
Morning. The twice annual meeting is March the 7th. So if you haven't RSVP'd to that already, please do so or let me know and I'll do it for you. Reading at the Mountains is, the planning is going really well. Mark and Tammy Haskett are doing an excellent job. We only have a few vendor spots left. So this is the first time it's filled up before the prices increase. So that's a really good sign. Departmental budget sheets are due to me next Friday, and then our next budget work session is March the 23rd after our board meeting. And our next meeting is my performance evaluation. So we'll have the closed session on that. And I've got the evaluation forms if you'd like to go ahead and do those or have them prepared ahead of time to bring. For the restroom, Jake and I met with Odell, the mechanical engineer and the civil engineer to discuss items that needed to be included in the bid package. The details we went over were things like heaters, floor drains, automatic flush mount, hanging on the wall toilets. And we realized that we need to rezone the depot site it's currently general business, but it needs to be downtown business so that because we can't meet the parking requirement or setbacks on that small site. So I'm going to ask the planning board to add that to their meeting agenda tonight. And then we'll try to get that before the board as soon as we can. So I'm thinking probably the second meeting in March, if we can meet the notice requirements there. And that's all I have unless you all have any questions.
Questions from the board? Okay, we'll move on to Public Works Department.
Good morning. We'll piggyback a little bit on Paige's comments about the downtown restroom. We got a good opportunity to correct a lot of the design flaws at Poteet and Bryson. So a lot of the new fixtures, stainless steel stuff we've talked about in the past, but that's going to be a very efficient little building, and I'm excited to share those designs with you. I'm meeting the roadmaster for Watco today down there at the site to discuss fencing, because that's kind of a hang up. We need that on the plan. Odell and Alec are finalizing the site plan and the building plan currently. And we want to show their fencing requirements. Hopefully that'll help us get that lease approved. Sure you're all aware by now about the Skyland Drive project. That's underway. They're projecting an August completion date on that. So that's been a long time coming and much needed. Worcesters received our final revisions on the Allen Street contract. They're doing their final revisions. They've had it for about a week now, so I'm hoping we'll be able to sign that in the next couple days to a week. Paying the planners downtown, giving them a much needed facelift here before the spring planting. We also rehabilitated a failing storm drain on Laurel Branch yesterday. We've been wanting to complete that for quite a while now. Lieutenant Moore with Sylva PD and myself have nearly completed the traffic and detour plan for Greening Up the Mountains this year. As always, his work on that is huge. So I appreciate his help with that. Yesterday, I attended the 2023 Tualatin Water and Sewer Planning Committee meeting and had one of those since 2015. Mayor Nestor was there as well. That's a review of current and upcoming capital improvement projects for Tualatin. Many of those projects are in the town of Sylva, and the upgrades to their system, even outside of town, benefit residents and businesses here in town. So I was excited. Any questions?
Police department report.
Everybody. And I'm glad you're here today. I'm gonna follow up on a whole lot of things that you talked about, so that worked out okay. We're working on our budget, of course, and event preparation, as Jake just mentioned, that's plenty to keep us busy there, but costs for service are at about the same level. We don't really have an increase or decrease right now. A special kind of acknowledgement to Jake and his team since our last report. They have gone way above and beyond, especially with Bryson Park doing some things lately, like way above, way. And so good job for those. Good job to those guys and for being willing to do some of the things that they've done to help clean up out there. So staffing, we've really enjoyed being fully staffed. We do have a vacancy currently. The really kind of interesting thing is for us is a lot of law enforcement agencies are still struggling. They have openings and they're having a hard time finding applicants, but I feel like our philosophy is attracting people. We've got several folks to consider for this vacancy, and I don't think it's going to take very long to fill it at all. And it really feels good as the leader to get to really choose the best person for the job rather than just taking, the first person that's qualified or whatever. We'll do that anyway, but I'm saying it feels good to have a good, healthy group of folks to choose from. So we'll have that done in no time. Training, you mentioned CIT training. That was one of the first goals I set when I very first came here, and we're still struggling to get all of our officers trained that way. It's a hands-on class. It requires officers to go into facilities. And so when COVID hit for 2 years, it basically shut that whole program down because you weren't able to go into these places. It's back up and running now. And now for 2 cycles, we've had officers scheduled for this training, but it didn't meet the attendance requirements for the educator. And so it ended up being canceled. So what we're doing now is we're looking into Sylva Police Department hosting a CIT class here. And that way we can get more of our folks in and get it done. We're going to get it done. It's just how we're going to get there. 2 of our youngest officers just graduated from North Carolina Justice Academy's Police Law Institute. That's a 2-week course. That's tough for us to send somebody somewhere for 2 weeks. It's close enough where they can go back and forth, but nonetheless, it's tough to lose them for that long. But this class focuses on legal issues for police officers and reduces liability for our town. It really helps us make sure we're not violating folks' rights in all kinds of situations. So that's a big deal to have our 2 young guys to get through that. A lot of our officers have been through it, but for our young guys, that's good. So Josh Geiger, Gabe Ash, that made us proud to do a good job. Today and tomorrow, 3 of our supervisors are attending a pretty rare training opportunity that's put on by Awake. And it's actually going to be at the casino there at the reservation. And it deals with specifically situations involve kids and the best responses and some modern techniques of how we should be going about that these days. So that's going to be a good thing. They'll come back hopefully and teach the rest of us. Four of our officers have recently attended the Southwestern Community College of training on how to respond to active shooter incidents. You know, we all see the news, we all see how that goes and the things that are happening all around. So that's always changing the training that we get. So that's good to have somebody that's going to some updated training for that. Community care program. We are moving to the next level with Western Carolina University. The grant, they're applying for a grant that will pay for our community care liaison full time. For those of you who don't know, that's an embedded social worker in our police department who focuses heavily on our homeless folks. And so not just homeless people, but that is a lot of what she does. So that'll cover her full time or that person full time and the equipment that we need to do that job. And that program is really bringing community care. We've started two different groups under that umbrella. One of them is a citizen group. We're just basically, it's just citizens from all over. And Natalie's been participating in that as well. It's basically just get their input, somebody who's not in that field, their input and their ideas has been really helpful. And then also a group of folks who are stakeholders in our community and honestly in people's lives, but housing, treatment, those kinds of people. And we're getting them to a table once a month to talk about things. And believe it or not, that wasn't really happening. And it's been very, very, very fruitful. So that's another good thing. We still have a lot of issues with our homeless population, but I think we're in better shape than we were a year ago, which is good because it's increasing, but I still feel like we're in better shape. We are seeing an uptick in calls for aggressive panhandling. We had one situation here since the last report where we had a homeless person set up beside an ATM and basically just sit and wait on people to come to get money out, that kind of thing. So that is trending up. I'd say slightly. I wouldn't say majorly, but slightly. So that is something that we're having to deal with. The community connections and resources that's coming from this program, though, is helping us deal with a lot of these issues with minimum criminal charges at all. And I'm literally able to call some of these folks. The citizen group, for example, we had a problem, and I called this one person and said, "Hey, this is a community problem, not a police problem, and I need the community's help to fix this problem because if we fix it, it's going to put a criminal charge." And I didn't have anybody, so we were able to get that problem solved without the police being involved, other than just organizing. So that's the goal of the whole thing. That's amazing. Mobile crisis. Our mobile crisis team was low staffed. They were struggling for a little bit. They're staff now. They're getting better at what they're doing. So we started to use them more. There for a little while we weren't really using them. We're using them more. They're part of one of these meetings that I've been talking about. So I've been busy with community leaders during the past month, the government, nonprofit, businesses, all of the above. Working on a variety of issues and projects, but one of those meetings was with Sheriff Farmer, and we had a really long and good meeting, a good start to his administration starting there. And I really am optimistic. I look forward to our accomplishments as a team. I think we're going to have, I think he's going to approach things as a team with the Sylva Police Department. So that's exciting. So we're excited about that. Any questions?
Questions? Okay. Fire department report.
Good morning. I'm still on the weather, so I'm going to read your report here. So far this year, we've run 193 calls, and in the city limits, we've administered oxygen twice, had 2 structure fires, 1 vehicle fire, and 7 1050s. Out in the county, we've done CPR once, administered oxygen 5 times, had 6 structure fires, 7 1050s, administered Narcan once, and had 1 breath fire. Any questions?
All right, thank you. Main Street reports.
Good morning. We are kicking off our festival and activity and event season. Downtown Merchants Market will be on March 18th from 10 to 4. And merchants will have special bundles and merchandise on the sidewalks. We do this twice a year. Friends Night Out put on by Chamber of Commerce is March 30th from 4 to 7. And for Brew Hop, which is April 1st, we've sold 27 tickets to date. We have 250 available. So those are up on the website. And just to add to Paige's report on Greening Up the Mountains, this is the 25th anniversary of Greening Up the Mountains. So we're doing a lot of special things. We're going to have 25 giveaways that attendees can register for that are donated by merchants, as well as some other things that are going to be exciting and enticing to celebrate the 25th. I will be attending the Main Street Conference on March 14th to the 16th, along with our incoming Main Street Sylva Board President, Lori Bryson. And I'll be on a social district panel along with several other towns. Mary, I'm so glad you're going to We Speak. I'll be attending on Monday and leading a table session as well. So really excited about the concerted efforts to build the workforce in our area. And yesterday I attended a meeting at a co-working facility in Asheville called Hatch as part of the feasibility study that we're doing, along with Stacy Guffey, who's our program manager with NC Growth, who will be doing this study. And it was very enlightening to kind of get ideas of what we can do here in Sylva. Does anyone have any questions?
Could you elaborate a little bit on the enlightenment on that?
Enlighten us.
On the Hatch Innovation Hub, sure. Hatch kind of has everything in it that we would potentially look at for options. So it's an incubator. They also have two co-working spaces within the building, and kind of all in that, folks who want to get those office spaces, they can either have dedicated space, they can do a flex space membership, or they can come just for the day. So they kind of have those set aside for each area, and everything includes internet, parking, and coffee. They even have a coffee shop in there. And I talked to the director for a while. They have, it's a very lucrative program. There are a lot of people from the community who are involved. So of course, we wouldn't look at something that scale, but it's good information as we're working on that feasibility study and trying to fill some spaces. So
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for doing that.
sure.
Okay, TWASA board report. Give that. TWASA is hosting the governor today at one of our water treatment facility. So we're very proud to have that opportunity. They're showcasing it as an example of a resiliency project that they funded, our Clearwell, to help TWASA weather droughts and extreme weather and make our system a lot more robust. The other update I have there, we did update our personnel policy at our last meeting, and we have added paid parental leave to our personnel policy, as well as a tuition reimbursement for employees that want to further their education. So bragging on TWASA a little bit there. That closed the TWASA board report, and then we have Pinnacle Park report, which I will also give. We have received the draft version of the botanical survey, even at our last meeting we had, but the board wants to spend more time, the Pinnacle Park board wants to spend more time reviewing that document and suggesting changes. So that final draft is gonna then get sent back for probably some additions, and then Equinox will have a couple of weeks to edit that before they submit the actual final. And then I think we've tentatively scheduled their presentation for our first April meeting, right?
Yes.
So Equinox will probably, unless the schedule gets delayed a little bit more, will come to the board, and Clark Foundation will come, and Equinox will do a presentation on the findings for that report. And when I get that final report, well, you'll probably get it before. The master plan is the only other thing I'll mention. We put out our request for proposals for the master plan, and the prices came back a lot higher than we anticipated. So we're trying to figure out the funding for that here in the next few weeks, because in order to maintain our timeline, we really need to have that signed at the beginning of March. But we're working through those details. Okay, that concludes reports.
So on the April 1st, will that be kind of, what's the format for that they'll present? I mean, is it an open meeting where folks that are here could ask them questions, that kind of thing?
Yeah,
it'd be nice to have, I think, to have that,
there will definitely be questioning. It won't be April 1st, it'll be our first April meeting.
Oh, 1st April, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, though I imagine it'll be a lot like the watershed action plan for Scotts Creek, which Equinox also did. don't know if you're on the board for that, but yeah, they'll give a presentation, there'll be plenty of time for questions and answers.
Okay, well, from the folks, not just us. That's what I'm saying. It might be nice to have a,
Yeah, I mean,
if folks are really interested, so they can ask questions about it too, because, you know, it is one of those things we're really wanting public input on as well.
Mhm.
So
So you actually add a public.
think it as a public hearing as well.
Hearing?
I mean, I guess, or just have it, like, I mean, it could be a regular board meeting, but just make it so folks who are interested. I don't think we're gonna fill the room. But
I think if people want to ask questions, so that would not already acceptable for the presentation without having a public hearing.
yeah,
Cool, yeah, we will work on the format of it. Okay.
David, may I
anything
say one
else?
last thing?
Yeah.
I forgot to say this. I thought it was pretty cool. Sylva Library offers free notary services. I did not know that. Maybe you all did, but they have 3. So if you need notary option.
Okay.
That's all.
No.
Thanks.
Yep, all right. Anything else on reports? Nope. We will close reports and move to new business. The first item on the agenda is a proclamation declaring February 26th as Victoria Casey McDonald Day. Would you like to introduce this?
We had this request, and then this would be her 80th birthday, right?
Yes, it'll be a birthday on Sunday.
Wonderful. Is there anything you'd like to say?
No. I just want to say thank you to the town and the county for acknowledging the work that my mother has done throughout the whole time of her 30 years teaching, being in the community, whether it was softball, basketball, teaching, or just being there for the community in general. She impacted all facets of life. She was an ordinary, extraordinary woman. Yep, she was an artist, published book author, and I super appreciate and I'm thankful for her to be able to be acknowledged in that way. And it's a big deal for her to be acknowledged, you know, giving people flowers after the fact, you know, unfortunately when she's passed, you know, it hurts, but at the exact same time, it's amazing that we're able to do it. And I do appreciate it, both in the county and the town, that we're proclamating the date to her. And join us on Saturday, 3 p.m. We'll be at City Lights to celebrate her 80th birthday. And if you taught or if you had any experience with her, you would know my mother. We're celebrating not only just her life, but what she impacted in other people's lives and what you became today because of it. So we're celebrating everybody truly, and not just her. So come Saturday to see her 3 p.m. and I really appreciate you guys, like I said, acknowledging her.
Very much. Comments or discussion from the board? This time? Well, I'd be very honored to entertain a motion to adopt this proclamation declaring February 26th, Victoria Casey McDonald Day.
I would like to make the motion that we accept the proclamation to make February 26th Victoria Casey McDonald Day.
We have a motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes unanimously. Thanks a lot. And we have a signed copy here for you.
You're gonna,
Yeah, absolutely. I want to present.
somebody else in the picture.
Stand behind you.
Come on. What happened to tell us Sylva sign? Yeah, bunch up. Yeah. You're wrong with that.
Hey.
Natalie, could you? Perfect.
This way?
Perfect, yes.
Ritz.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda. Request from NCDOT for some Highway 23 speed limit changes. Thank you. Want to give some background on this?
Yes, so currently the road is 45 miles an hour in the stretch we're talking about from Teakwood Lane, which is just past the drive entrance to Sylva Plaza, to Hospital Road. And the grade is steeper. So DOT is interested in changing that from 45 to 35 miles an hour if the board is willing to make that request. So there are several to repeal the speed limit and several to enact these, well, several forms on how to do this, but it's really going from 45 to 35 between Hospital Road and Sylva Plaza, which is Teakwood Lane.
Any questions for the board?
Yeah, and so you can't, it can't be 35, like right when you get off. Because there's still a lot of activity, where the doctor's offices are prior, before you get to the hospital. There's a lot of cars coming in and out of there too. I'd love to shrink, it sounds like there has to be some buffer between when you're getting off the highway, and when you get on the 23 there, but.
Well, and the other part of that is not all of that's inside city limits.
Oh, yeah, okay, most of it, like. Yeah, it's right before, city limits is right before you get to the kind of doctor's village or whatever. For lack of a better term. Yeah.
Doctor's village.
Yeah. So, I don't know if we could, I don't know, I'd like to see it even, slow it down even further. Closer to the highway. I don't know if that would be something for a future discussion, because probably this is all set. We have to vote on specific things today. That's something to think about in the future. Also a question. So can we change the speed limit on a town road on our own, even if it's like, well, not a town road, but I mean like, so 107, if we wanted to change the speed limit on 107, do we have to have DOT do that, or can we do that on our own? Like, what's the legal thing? What power do we have over that?
So you could make the request, but looking at how it's designed is a big part of it.
I guess, well, we could, but just, do we have the ability as a town to set the speed limit on 107 is my question.
You have the ability to make that request.
Request, okay.
The request would go to the Traffic Services Division, and then they would review and make recommendations.
That's the process. Okay, cool, thanks. Well, good. You want me to, anyone else? I'll motion away here. Go for it.
How do you want to do this?
All in one.
Do it all in
Okay.
one.
Okay, so, good, Mary, good? Yeah. Okay, I motion that we accept the speed limit change recommendations from DOT in their entirety as submitted to the town board.
Okay, any discussion on that? We have a motion then. All those in favor? Raise your hands.
Aye.
Motion carries. The last item on the agenda is the Board of Commissioner vacant seat appointment. Paige, I'll let you go ahead and provide the instructions for.
Okay, so these will be done by ballot, and what you'll get the ballot, it has your name on it. You'll make your check mark and then sign it and let us know when you're ready for us to come pick it up. And then Amanda will read them. And we'll do this until we have a majority, meaning a winner. So there can't be a tie. So if there's a tie, we vote again and again.
Okay, so are the rules, and we received 3 applicants, so there'll be 3 names on your ballot. They're all very good candidates, and on behalf of the town, we'd like to thank all those candidates for taking an interest and being willing to serve. I'm sure it'll be a tough decision for my board members here. So we'll pass out the ballots and begin the voting.
Want these?
Yes, there's a sold it and maybe I can get them.
Yes, yeah, the best.
Commissioner McPherson, Brad Waldron. Commissioner Newman, Brad Waldron. Commissioner Gelbach, Guy John Phillips. Commissioner Guinea, Brad Waldron.
Okay, that is 3 votes for Brad Waldron. So Brad, you've been appointed to the Sylva Town Board. Congratulations.
Thanks all.
And your swearing in will be at our next meeting, March 9th. Is that correct? Okay, all right. And that concludes our meeting. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I motion we adjourn.
All those in favor? All right, adjourn.
Hey.